ready to paint our office, and we thought we'd film some of it for you, particularly the rolling part of it, because we've shown you cutting in and stuff before, but not the actual rolling step. So we've got our supplies out. We usually like to work on a piece of cardboard that we can kind of move around the room with us as we go. We also have the paint tray that we've got filled with the paint. The paint we're using, because I'm starting with the ceiling in here, is a flat finish of Benjamin Moore Natura in Simply White. And then we also have brush and roller. The brush is for cutting in and for catching any drips. And then the roller, obviously, is for the rolling. And we've got this on an extender rod because I found that makes it easier on my back and neck as I do the ceiling. As for the actual roller itself, this is a 3/8 inch nap roller for smooth surfaces. This one is a Benjamin Moore brand roller, but we also use Purdy or Wooster. It's really whatever happens to be on sale or at the store that we are shopping at the time. You've seen behind me that I've kind of prepped the room. We moved a lot of the stuff out, and the major things have just kind of shoved to the middle and put under drop cloths. But we have not protected the floor. At least after a few years of doing this, we found for ourselves it's faster when we're working in a room with wood floors to not cover them and just clean up as we go. In fact, I've got kind of a damp rag here to help wipe up anything that I spot as I go. And if we miss it, we usually have found that on a wood floor, you can just scrape off a dried piece with a fingernail. So since we've done this more times than I can count, this is the system that works for us. But if it's your first time painting, you may want to cover your floors just to be safe, because inevitably there are going to be drips, there's going to be probably some splatters. And if you just feel better about not having to be vigilant as you go, then certainly cover them. If we were painting in a carpeted room or a room with a big rug, we certainly would take more steps to protect the floor. If we had a rug in here, we'd probably roll it up and put it on the drop cloth or take it out. But again, for a wood floor room or even a tile room where you can clean up as you go, this is the method that works for us. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. What I find is the key to sort of getting good coverage without making too much of a mess is once you've got paint, a lot of paint in your tray and on your roller, make sure that you run it a few times across the end of the tray to get as much paint off as you can. Because I find sort of the three keys to getting a clean paint job is not a lot of paint, not a lot of pressure, and not a lot of speed. Those all things it's tempting to do a lot of all those things, to put a lot of paint on your roller, to use a lot of speed or use a lot of pressure because it will make the job go faster, but they're all things that also will splatter more and get all over you and your floor. So you can see this section that I've just done here. Just going over to make sure that I don't have too many ridges or roller marks, although those will dry pretty well. You can see that face is clean. I do have a hat on just to make sure I don't get my hair too messy, but I've gotten my face dirty, and so far we're also good on the floor. So I caught a couple drips that came probably when I was picking my roller up out of the tray. And so I'm going to show you just how with my damp rag I wipe these up because these are still wet. And you see they come right off because our floors are polyed, so the paint basically sits right on top of it. We finished painting the ceiling, and so now we're moving on to the walls, which is pretty much the same technique in terms of rolling, but we thought we'd show you anyway. So we've already edged the room with a paintbrush, getting those spots that we can't get with the roller. So now we're going back, and I already have paint in my tray and a roller on, and so just like before, I'm getting some paint on, but then sort of scraping against the ridges to get some of the excess off, because sort of the same rules apply here, where you don't want to use very much paint, very much pressure, or very much speed. I usually do some big strokes to get the paint off the roller and onto the wall, because once it's on the wall, there's less likely that it will fling off your roller as you go. And then I can go back and sort of spread it out and get all the areas that need to be covered. And I can get fairly close to the wall, or I'm sorry, the edges like the window trim and the molding. But obviously not enough that you can rely on a roller alone. And I usually like to go across in this direction just to get as close to the molding as I can. The only real difference here is from the ceiling is I'm not using the extender rod just because I can reach it all and I can stay sort of closer to the paint job without it and make sure that I'm getting everything covered. This is the part near the floor where I especially want to take care with it because if you're going too fast, you're going to fling the paint off the roller, and that's where you get a lot of those sort of spots or speckles on your floor sometimes. Again, if it happens, it's not a big deal because you can just wipe them off or scrape them off once they've dried. But it certainly makes life easier just to avoid them in the first place.
Ta-da!